My ancestors came to this area back in 1852. My great-grandfather was John List, and you may have heard of a List Avenue up here off of Harford Road. And he was a farmer, a truck farmer. A truck farmer is one who grows his crops and then by truck or other transportation would move his crops down to the local markets for sale. And those local markets could include Lexington Market, Richmond Market, Broadway Market, Cross Street Market, you name them, that's where he delivered his goods. But he also began a canning business as part of his farming business, and he had a canning business for many years up here off of Harford Road and near Rosecamp Avenue. Hello, I'm Nils Reuckert. I was born and raised in Lauraville, Hamilton. I grew up here, and I've been a resident since 1975 of California. So it's good to be back home again. So my great-grandfather's family all grew up in Lauraville, including my grandmother. My great-grandfather had 5 daughters and 1 son. One of those daughters married a Reuckert, and that was where I got my name, Reuckert. And the Reuckert family stayed here and grew up also in this area. The house that I lived in at 5019 Harford Road had 3 generations of Reuckerts, beginning with my grandmother and grandfather. My father grew up there, I grew up there, so it was a family home for many years. We considered ourselves a working class family. The Reuckert family, my father and my grandfather, had a baking business. It was a family baking business, Reuckert's Bakery. But, when my great-grandfather died, he had some real estate in this area, and my grandmother inherited one of those parcels, which eventually became Reuckert Avenue. And that's where they built their home, on the corner of Harford and Reuckert. And that was our family home for many years. So we were a working class family. We always had our photos taken at Herring Run Park with a family camera. So that was the go-to place for photographs. But we also went down there for recreation, on the playgrounds with my siblings and perhaps some of the neighborhood kids to play. We went down there in the winter for sledding on the slopes when it snowed. That was always something we looked forward to. My father was a member of the Lauraville Old Timers Association. And these were a group of men who had grown up in Lauraville, and in later years they got together just as a social group, the Lauraville Men's Club. Living out in California, I started picking up on their Zoom meetings. Before that they met as a social group, but then when the pandemic came along they were all Zoom, so I made it a point to join all the Zoom meetings. And it's fun for me to sit out there in California and hear all these street names of the area where I grew up.